This is Chapter 1, Part 3, The Biopsy. My first appointment was on October 24th, 2013. I was rushed through a mammogram and an ultrasound and then told by a very kind nurse that I had breast cancer, just like that. She gently sat me and my partner Lucia in an exam room, turned the lights off, held my hand, and said that although I would still need an MRI and a biopsy, there was no doubt. It happened that quick, just like that. I was told this life-changing news, and in an instant, I was no longer the person I once was. The trajectory of my life turned like a speeding rocket in that very second. My mind went blank. I sat silent. I was consumed with a heaviness and a shock that I had no idea how to understand or process. I knew I had to get up and leave the building, and although I wanted to run out the door screaming, the shock kept me in silent, and I just sat there still as the tears fell. After a few moments, with the comfort of Lucia's arms wrapped around me, we were led out the back door through the employee entrance to the parking lot. I'm still unsure if that was for my benefit or to shield the waiting room patients from any fear by seeing me leave with a face full of tears in a near comatose state. The biopsy. After being told that the mammogram, ultrasound, and MRI results showed a tumor, I guess I can understand why the nurses and doctors wouldn't want to add to my fear by telling me that the biopsy was quite invasive. This procedure, to put it mildly, is altogether unpleasant. Not only was it physically painful for me, but also mentally uncomfortable because of being strongly manhandled while topless. I choose to use the word unpleasant because the biopsy is a necessary and unavoidable step in the diagnosis process, and I don't want to scare anyone, but the truth is that word just doesn't do it justice. Lucia has been by my side for every doctor appointment, test, scan, and phone call since we noticed the lump. This was the first appointment where she was told to wait in the waiting room. I should have known then that this wasn't going to be a pain-free experience like I was told. Prior to being laid on that table, I was told, "It doesn't hurt at all, you might just feel a pinch." I underwent a vacuum-assisted ultrasound-guided core biopsy, which lasted approximately 20 minutes. The procedure was performed by the doctor while two nurses ensured my stability throughout. One of the nurses continually gave me shots that apparently numbed the area, but I convinced myself she must have had saline in that syringe because nothing was numb. The big tears flowed while I laid as still as possible until the doctor was finished cramming that tool inside my boob and digging out pieces of a tumor attached to my body. And if that wasn't enough, after the doctor left the room, the nurse pushed on my boob with a towel and a whole lot of pressure until the bleeding stopped. I imagine this is what CPR might feel like. What pissed me off wasn't that they completely downplayed how much it would hurt or the fact that they wouldn't allow Lucia to be there with me, but it was the nurse who said to me as she pushed on my chest, "I don't know why you're crying, this doesn't hurt," all while looking at me like I was being a complete baby. I went home in tears and nursed a very large bruise for the next 3 days while trying not to go completely insane, awaiting the phone call that would determine my fate. 18 days after finding a lump, having blood work, my first mammogram, an ultrasound, an MRI, and a painful biopsy procedure, I awaited the pathology results and still hoped for a miracle that wouldn't come.